Alright guys, welcome back to Racing Direct, and today I have one simple question for you. What on earth is going on at Imola? The first two practice sessions have come and gone, and we got a crazy hodgepodge of different results. We've got Red Bull sliding around all over the place that can't find grip. We've got V-Carb setting blistering lap times, and yes, the return of porpoising. So we're going to do a short little bit of dissecting before free practice 3 and qualifying rolls around. Make sure you hit subscribe, like the video. Let's jump right into it. So first and foremost, I'm just starting to wonder if Red Bull is slightly nervous. Yes, we've seen some situations where they don't really do well in practice, and then Verstappen turns up on Saturday and sets a blistering pole position time in qualifying. However, this time it does seem like they are struggling at Imola. Max Verstappen was complaining about the grip in both free practice 1 and free practice 2, saying the balance was way off. He just couldn't get control of the car. Many adventures off track into the gravel traps. He had that huge snap that he had to save in the chicane. This is honestly one of the toughest days Red Bull has seen in a very long time. And especially when McLaren and now Ferrari are coming with some massive upgrades. And who knows, maybe Mercedes is starting to compete a little bit as well, looking at their lap times. We'll have to see if that actually carries over to Saturday. But for now, Red Bull does have to be on their toes a little bit and figure out what's going on and see if they can sort this out before qualifying. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're sandbagging on Friday. I do believe they are going to turn things around, and I honestly would not be surprised if Verstappen just waxes everybody in qualifying again. However, they do need to make some changes. It's pretty obvious, everybody can see it. They were not having a good day today. They really need to change their setup and figure things out fast. But it wasn't just Red Bull that seemed to be struggling with balance and grip at this track. We saw a big spin from Lewis Hamilton. I believe it was the first practice session of the day. We saw many drivers getting into the gravel traps. Tsunoda was on that list as well before he set a crazy fast lap time in the second practice session. But it looks like people are having a tough time coming to grips with Imola. Of course, we unfortunately had to skip the race last season due to that terrible flooding in the Emilia-Romagna region. And it looks like a lot of drivers and a lot of teams need to dust off the cobwebs and get themselves reacclimatized to this circuit. And speaking of sorting things out, there were a couple of drivers and a couple of teams that were suffering from the dreaded porpoising. It was mainly Zhou Guanyu and Esteban Ocon were both complaining that on the straightaways they were jumping up and down, bouncing out of the seats in their cars, which is obviously something that you do not want to happen in a Formula 1 car when you're doing nearly 200 miles per hour. So yes, this is a huge problem that those teams need to figure out if they want any chance of getting into the points. But if we get away from the negative side of things that happened in that practice session, let's look at two very good teams, and that is obviously Ferrari and McLaren. Ferrari were absolutely flying. Both Leclerc and Sainz are looking very good. Obviously, we know they came with some new upgrades to this Grand Prix as well. They had to if they wanted to respond to McLaren's ridiculous upgrade package that helped them win the Miami Grand Prix, and it looks like Ferraris are already paying off. So we did see a couple of spy shots from their filming days at the Fiorano test track in Italy. It looks like they've completely redesigned their side pods, especially those big intakes on either sides of the car. Everything is completely reshaped. It looks like they're going for a fresh take on their aerodynamics. There's also those sort of S-shaped wing deflectors that sit on either side of the halo. Those look extremely different from what they were running back in Miami, and it does look like there's a couple of extra bits on the front wing as well. Whatever they did aside from that is also really paying off. That car is absolutely flying. However, so is the McLaren. We saw Lando Norris on a super fast lap before he dipped a wheel into the gravel trap on the final corner, but Piastri went P2 in FP2. McLaren looks really good. Now, obviously, yes, if you look at the Friday results, it could be between Ferrari and McLaren for pole. However, again, let's not rule out Max Verstappen. He's pretty much inevitable. We all know he's going to pull something out of the bag on Saturday and going to be right in the mix. However, it does look like we could have a serious fight for pole position on Saturday. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. If Ferrari can pull it off in front of the Italian fans, that would be amazing. If McLaren can somehow get in there and do it again, follow Miami, that would be impressive as well. But does Red Bull seriously have to worry? Well, I wouldn't call it crisis mode just yet, but they do need to sort out these issues very fast if they want to hold off mainly Ferrari and McLaren. And of course, let's see what Mercedes do as well, because they did finish 4th and 5th in FP2, so they could throw in a surprise as well. But guys, as always, give me your thoughts of what you thought of Friday at Imola, because it was definitely one of the most interesting practice days we've seen in a long time. There's a lot going on. This should be a pretty exciting qualifying session and Grand Prix at Imola. Appreciate all the support, guys, and again, I'll remind you to hit that big red subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds, and it really helps, and we'll see you next time on Racing Direct.